for the longest time, I think I was like denying myself of what I wanted to do, like trying to buy into that notion that, okay, maybe I should just go like the traditional route. It's just like the further I tried to go, the more I just realized like this is not me, this is not what I want to do. Going back to YouTube and my camera was just like, honestly, like just my safety space. It was just like a way for me to just be able to re-energize and just like bring myself back to like a space where it's just like, okay, I feel most comfortable and most me here. Challenging things, like can you like further expand on that? Like, why do you feel that way? Or like, why do you believe that? And then also realizing that they've never questioned things and they just believe it. I have the opportunity that a lot of people prior to me have not had, especially like women before me, and it's like, why not? Why wouldn't I take the chance and like on myself and like believe that I can do this? Recognize and like see the privilege that I carry being Ghanaian American versus just Ghanaian. Kind of how I navigate that through my art and just like through the world as a person alone. Not really having that support system, it was a way for me to like do that, because I wanted to go to film school, but it just was not an option like financially. So in a way, YouTube was like my film school, having to worry about internships and like networking and all these things that are supposed to lead you to like a big corporate job, which is not what I wanted. Should I participate for the sake of like having like that safety net? So long as someone can connect with something that I've made and like they feel seen or like think about it on a deeper level rather than just consuming it and just like moving on with their lives and forgetting about it in however many minutes, just if I reach that goal, that's enough for me. Especially too with being very self-critical, like after spending hours like pre-production with my videos, and that there are people who like these videos mean a lot to them. Like for me to now be seeing like more Black women like in the digital online space, to think about that and like be that for someone, it's actually insane.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to Flowering Philosophies. I feel so privileged and honored to have my dear friend Juanita next to me.
I don't think you're ready. Are you ready? Because you're recording? Oh my gosh. Okay. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Juanita. Can't believe you don't know that. It's literally my channel name. I just drove like almost an hour because I saw this thing, Facebook Marketplace, and I've been thinking about it all week. Clothing. Within the span of a year, introducing filming this video, I don't know what's just stopping me from doing it. Share these little words and thoughts that I'm having. Uh-oh, I think my ring is stuck. I love this bag. It's so cute. No, don't do this to me. Soursop Dory notebook that has blank pages. I'm excited. Thank you for inviting me to your home.
Thank you for being here.
So cozy here.
Cozy corner. It's the hot summer days, and it's cozy, but it's warm.
Yeah, with the AC off too.
We're all I know, I'm like, I have the hot tea too, and the
candle. Hey guys, I'm Juanita. I do a lot of visual focused media and just like art, from videography to photography. I have a YouTube channel. Not really active on there, but I post like once in a while. I'm trying to be like more consistent, like inayah.
Hey.
She's got that down pat, like be more consistent and just like.
It's not perfect.
Yeah, but
it's a journey.
you're still like disciplined with it. I guess like that's the word, like being more disciplined. Yeah, just also living life as well.
It's just cool that you have different formats. Is there one that you feel like has been your favorite or like feels like easiest to you expression wise?
Currently photography, which is kind of surprising because like I picked it up in high school, got like a point and shoot film camera from Goodwill, and like I just took some photos of my friends, like forgot about the roll for like a couple years and then got it developed. But I recently picked it back up again because when it comes to like videography and specifically just like filmmaking, which is where I want to end up, the ideas in your head like kind of need funding to bring them to life like at the scale that you want them to. So photography has been more of a something that's just like more accessible as of now, because like I have an idea, I can reach out to friends and be like, hey, like are you free this day, just like, you know, try out this concept, and you can easily edit it and like get it back to people versus like video, which requires like a huge team, especially for like the ideas that I have. So
in your head, like you kind of see it all of like what it would look like, how it would have to sound and be.
Yeah, like the beat of it, especially like listening to music, I just have like an idea of how things flow, like the angles and like where the characters are standing, what they're wearing, and just like interactions, like even background and all that. So
I kind of gravitated initially towards photography too, because it felt like something I could manage on my own, or it's like,
Yeah.
of course you can bring the elaborate lighting and models or ideas, and you know, it can be so elaborate, but it also felt like I can just take my camera around and capture
literally.
the world. So has making YouTube videos, I know it's not exactly like filmmaking, but just the visual components of it, do you feel like you've had to wear a lot of little hats in the sense of you're directing kind of where it looks, and then you're making sure that you're setting up your angle, and then all of the post situations and just the editing of it all? So it's like having to do all of it at once, bringing those visions to life is already like, whoa.
Like, I clearly love it and I enjoy it, and like doing it without, I guess, like not necessarily any like physical or like monetary reward. I feel like some sort of connection or attachment to it, so like that's why I keep coming back. In the past, I used to really enjoy vlogs, so I think to me was kind of a form of filmmaking, like being able to think of your days like ahead of time, and then like thinking, okay, like how can I make this moment that's like so simple like look good visually, like on like a video or just something like that, composition wise and all that. Like I used to really be into that like in my college days, and I've kind of like toned down back a bit, because with YouTube, like you notice like your analytics doing well for like certain content, and then like your brain starts doing like, oh, should I only like gravitate towards only making stuff like that because like the people are enjoying that. I mean, I like really enjoyed it, like the process was fun and all, but you're the only one doing everything, like wearing all the little hats. Your brain kind of starts doing a thing where it's like, I don't think my videos are good enough, or like this self-comparison of like, this kind of feels like repetitive. I think with making vlogs too, I started getting in my head about like trying to make my life look elaborate and all that for the sake of like people staying like attention span wise. I've been doing more talking videos, which I used to be terrified of doing, so kudos to you. No, literally, kudos to you being able to make like 30-hour long like talking videos, and it's just you, like
to hate your voice after.
No, literally, like editing too, I'm thinking about that, but just to have that much to like say on like a certain topic, I'm just like, doing it is really hard.
It's hard whenever you're growing as a person. You're naturally going to also grow as an artist or a creator or whatever, so it makes sense that like making that was serving you at a certain time, and then it's like, okay, maybe your lifestyle is changing, maybe what you like to film or do is changing, having to adapt to all of that, while also, if you do have viewers or an audience and everything, making sure they adapt also.
That was kind of like the decision that I took, I guess, like this year, in terms of your videos are not going to be as organic as possible, because in a way, like you're kind of surveilling yourself, right? So like, I don't want them to feel like overly produced or like overly thought out, because being online, like especially it being a whole job now, like there's like a whole industry surrounding this, and like people are able to, you know, like fund their lives off of this. Like you can kind of start getting looped into that, and like, I mean, like it is like an amazing thing being able to, you know, like make a living off of like what you're creating, but once you kind of like get into the thick of that, you kind of feel forced. Like it doesn't feel like something that you're making because like, oh, I feel like making a video on this today. It just feels more so like, okay, well, I have to pay this and this and this and that. Other people have to be paid off of like your work.
It's not just about you anymore.
Yeah, so it just becomes like a whole kind of like entity in itself, like kind of like you're a celebrity, right? Like I haven't gotten to that point, so I'm just like, at the point that I am right now, like I think about it sometimes and I'm like, I have like a lot of freedom that I can just like do anything with. So for me to kind of like be putting these guidelines on myself as to like what I can make and what is going to make me more palatable, I like really needed to break out of that.
You kind of start feeding a certain niche or style. It's like, okay, now people want a certain thing. It's not going to be authentic. People can tell. Like there's a difference.
And I think that's the thing that we mentioned yesterday, like some creators that we even indulged in like when we were younger or something, like you can feel that change over time. Like no malice towards them, but it's just like you just kind of feel that disconnect.
You're making sure that you're not falling into that type of spiral by pulling yourself back and like making sure you're being authentic. But like, what do you wish like other creators that you watched kind of stuck to?
Pulling yourself away from that bubble, because it can kind of become like an echo chamber, like obviously because like you want to be like seen more, because that's what this industry and like career kind of requires, you know, like to be more noticeable, and that like brings you more brands. Once you're kind of like in the thick of it, like it just once again becomes like a repetitive like cookie cutter type situation.
I feel like the relatability is just kind of lost. Like why you enjoyed the uniqueness of that person kind of gets sucked out of
like
their
I watched
creations.
you because you were like in some like random town that I've never been to, and like, you know, I was able to see your life with like either as an only child or like with your friends and family, seeing what like a suburban kid does. And like, I'm happy that now you have like the monetary, you know, freedom, kinda, like in a way like an influencer factory. It's kind of like they put you through this machine and then you kind of like come out looking like the same, wearing the same brands, like drinking the same like drinks, eating at the same places, and you're no different than XYZ creator, you know?
I kind of just stopped enjoying watching certain things that felt a little less relatable. And it's not that I don't enjoy those creators or artists, whatever, still showing their life and stuff, but it's just, it feels like there's a gap between the viewers and also a little bit of a different situation. Usually I'm making a floral arrangement for my home and everything, but today I wanted to make one for Juanita to take on her journey. When did you feel like, okay, you know, I like to make things and I am gonna put it out there into the world? Like, when did you start doing that, and what was sort of like your thought process in doing that? Because it's kind of scary, to be honest, like putting your creations and things, especially when you're young and you're a kid. Like, I know we met online when we were
like
kids.
13, 14.
Yeah, so it's like...
So I'm an only child. I also moved to the US like around age 11, 12, and like prior to that, didn't really have any access to like the internet or just like any sort of digital media. Like, a lot of the media that I consumed was very, not censored, but like it was just like picked out by like my relatives and family members. So like I didn't really have a choice in what I was watching, which like makes sense like as a child, but it feels like certain narratives were like kind of being spoon-fed, ideas and like politics and all that. But when I got to the US, it was sort of the same situation because like we didn't really have cable or like Wi-Fi for a while. So it wasn't until like high school that I had access to like the internet, and like I started seeing all these creators like My Life is Ava, Alicia Marie, like the OGs, and I was like, oh my god, this is so fun. But I didn't really like see any creators who looked like me, but I didn't like really think much of it. It was just like, oh, okay. But it wasn't until high school that I decided to like start making a YouTube video, like reels of like my friends like in gym, stuff like that. Just kind of like, it was more so just like a memory thing. Like I was like, I want to like look back on this and like remember these times. So over time it just like expanded. Like I tapped into makeup, and then I made some sort of like talking videos, like a thrift with me, or like a outfit video, you know, like that time, like the 2015, 16, like trying to more so like that. That's how I got into the YouTube space. But ever since, I think like it's grown more. Like I came to realize, okay, it's not just like YouTube and just like content creation, but it's more so like I want to do this like full time, like, you know, just like producing things and making visual art, like either like movies or just like still life or something like that. So for now, I guess my goal is to like be consistent, just to know that I can do it. That was like one thing that I wrote on like my New Year's resolution list. Like I've always have moments where like I'm consistent for like a month or 2 or 3 months, and then like I disappear for like another 3, and then I come back, and it's not necessarily for like anybody else's expectations. Like I do appreciate my viewers and the people who stay like after those long periods of hiatuses. It's like for you to like still care about what I'm doing and like checking on me and like, you know, still want to participate. That's like very thoughtful, but more so just for myself to, you know that I can have that discipline and like be able to, you know, think of something and like flesh it out. And I wanted to upload on Wednesdays, but sometimes I'm like, okay, I can't get it up on Wednesday, like Thursday or Friday or Sunday even. But it's just more so wanting to not have like that big of a lasp in just like sharing stuff. So I had to like come to a realization that, hey, like you have a life, like going to school, working a job, and like other things going on, like.
And the fact that you're still prioritizing it on top of
that, so it's like,
impressive.
I don't necessarily need to explain to anyone or apologize to anyone about stuff like this. Like I can just come back and post and it's fine.
Was it a lot of work to balance all of that, or did it feel like, no, this is what I love to do, and if anything it's kind of like a relief to also make art at the same time? Like, or was it tricky during that time to like balance all of it?
It was, I think, like during COVID, because like I started my college in 2020, so like around that time it was easier because like, you know, at home, and like I had more time
we're the exact
on my hands.
same
Right, like
age.
even like during like Zoom classes, I'd like on the side be like editing and stuff like that.
Yes.
So like around then it was easier to do like balance it, but like once, you know, having to go to classes in person and being a commuter, like driving back home and then like going to work and all that, it just became much harder to like prioritize making videos. And it's something that I love doing because I mentioned being an only child, like not really having much else to do, and especially growing up in the immigrant household where like, I don't want to say art isn't prioritized, but just our parents haven't necessarily had the privileges of being able to like tap into that sides of themselves. Like they were kind of like on survival mode and had to like, you know, prioritize other things. Not really having that support system, it was was a way for me to like do that because I wanted to go to film school, but it just was not an option like financially. So in a way, YouTube was like my film school, like teaching myself how to edit and like figuring out sequences and like different angles and stuff like that. So yeah, it was really fun for me, but it just became really hard like around junior year to keep it up, just like classes picking up, having to worry about internships and like networking and all these things that are supposed to lead you to like a big corporate job, which is not what I wanted. But I was just like, should I participate for the sake of like having like that safety net of like, you know, landing a job after college, which I did not get.
How did you create your own support or encouragement when not getting that from immigrant parents or family that doesn't really understand what the hell you're doing?
I think one finding community online, like you and Trevi, I know you guys used to like post really frequently, like your photo shoots and all that. Like I think that seeing people my age doing the same thing and just like connecting with other people sort of in the same boat. And then additionally, I think I just did it because like it was the only thing that I could do because, you know, like going through school, like for the longest time, I think I was like denying myself of what I wanted to do, like trying to buy into that notion that, okay, maybe I should just go like the traditional route, like go into nursing school and like do the healthcare thing. But it's just like the further I tried to go, the more I just realized like this is not me, this is not what I want to do. Going back to YouTube and my camera was just like, honestly, like just my safety space. It was just like a way for me to just be able to re-energize and just like bring myself back to like not necessarily reality, but just like a space where it's just like, okay, I feel most comfortable and most me here type thing.
The reason I wanted to start making a podcast or like, because you think about it and you're like, okay, it is kind of an oversaturated thing. What am I adding or doing here? And I remember thinking, I don't really have any YouTubers or creators that I watch that are like maybe someone my age who is trying to figure out what they're doing, like talking out of their parents' house and confused and dealing with emotions that they don't know. Maybe they're taught to push down, but stuff that maybe they're figuring out, like maybe I do want to listen to my dreams, or maybe I do want to do this, or maybe I do want to believe in myself in this way. And I just didn't hear any of those types of like really vulnerable conversations happening. And so getting to like create a space for that has felt very surreal and crazy because that's what I needed. And so just hearing you say like you didn't see creators that looked like you. I know you are most definitely a lot of people's like favorite creator. They get so excited to see what you're putting out there. I'm sure you've inspired people, and like isn't that crazy, like that you've done that thing that you didn't have or that you didn't see.
It's insane to like read comments sometimes or getting DMs and being like a Ghanaian girl like reached out to me over DMs the other day and she's like, I've been watching you since like your freshman year. And I was like, holy crap. Like, especially too with being very self-critical, like after spending hours like pre-production with my videos and like filming it and then editing it, I just kind of put it out there, watch it through, and then it's just like over, and then I'm just like on to the next. But just to like come to that realization that there are people who like these videos mean a lot to them. And, like for me to now be seeing like more Black women like in the digital online space and like being more represented, to think about that and like be that for someone, it's actually insane.
Yeah, like,
it's crazy because it's like, what? I don't know, like I never try to think of myself as like a role model or just like
you are though
something for someone. Like I'm just like, hey, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing, so like do not be looking to me for advice on anything, but like to think about.
But you're an example.
Yeah, like someone looking at me and be like, oh my god, I'm in the same situation, and like the things you talk about are the same feelings that I have, or just like navigating the same issues and just oh okay.
Yes.
Like I'm glad I can kind of help in that way, but it's just insane to think about it because like you get kind of preoccupied, like this is my life and I'm living it, right?
But it's like if people can find comfort and relatability in your learning process and figuring out what you're doing and who you are, it's like that's the most special thing. We didn't have iPads and TikTok and everything when we were little, but like we were just starting to like have our iPods and we were just starting to have a little bit of digital media in our lives and having little CD players and everything. And you were talking about how growing up your media was pretty like filtered or fed to you in a certain way. Was that just perspective shift and blown and changed whenever you did come here and you were exposed to because like the internet in general, but just like America and like the consumption and the quickness and go and like YouTube media, like how did you feel kind of stepping into that world, like that was becoming your world, and you're having to also go to school at the same time and like make new friends. Like, I don't know, I just feel like because we started making stuff at a young age, like I'd just be interested to know how your perspective was kind of changed.
Yeah, it was definitely a culture shock, just like with everything, because like the world that I grew up in, just like the things that I was told was like, this is what's morally right and this is what's morally wrong, and like all of that, and then coming to a place where, you know, like you have all these different ideas, and it's like you're told that, okay, well, this person can be right and this person can be also right, and just like having different perspectives and opinions and ideas, and it's not necessarily policed, I guess, like not extremely as it was where I grew up. Especially being a child, like it feels like you're not really allowed to challenge like the opinions of elders or like the people who came before you. It was just more so kind of like, okay, this is what you're told and this is what you have to believe. You're not really allowed to question things. Coming here and like having kids like constantly question things, like, well, why do I have to do that? Or, like, why do I have to? I was like, oh. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And I remember like literally, I think like my first day of either 8th grade or 7th grade, I saw a boy wearing an earring. Like he had an ear piercing, and I went up to him and I was like, why are you wearing that? And oh my God. Cringing thinking about that, because like to me, like at the time, my brain, I was just told like, hey, like only girls wear earrings. Like it was just like very like random things like that were feminized and like made to be like gender specific, and like I just, from that mindset, I questioned him. I was like, why are you wearing that? Like, and he just explained to me, he was just like, what do you mean? Like my mom took me to get my ears pierced, and I was like, oh, okay, type thing. And like just from that, like seeing more things, being exposed to like different ideas, and like kind of coming to my own conclusion, forming my own ideas versus like them being spoon-fed to me. And also comes to the realization that unfortunately some of my family members did not want me to get exposed to certain ideas or like critically think about certain things, right?
I've felt the same way, where it's like they're very mad at the ways that you become westernized, but it's also like, but you brought me here, and like that is what's gonna happen ultimately.
Yeah, I went back home this March to Ghana, like literally first time after 12 years like moving here. That was the first time that I went back, and just like seeing the reactions of my family members, kind of like my tattoo, and I didn't have my septum in at that time, but just like certain things that I believed in and all that. Like we only spent like a day or two together, but just like the few things that they noticed about me, being like, oh my God, like wow. And it's like, yeah, you don't stay in a place for a decade and 2 years and like it doesn't affect you.
What advice would you give to anybody who was coming from a background where maybe their expression or things that they want to lean more into are not even like a concept, maybe where they're from, or like even their families? They definitely can feel like you're starting anew, or like a new wave or curve, and I feel like that can be kind of isolating.
Yeah.
Are there any like personal thoughts or things that you ever tell yourself or try to remind yourself in the midst of ever feeling isolated or misunderstood within your family or community?
I mean, you always have that voice in the back of your head that's always speaking to you and like telling you things. I guess like listen to your gut feeling, or just like try to tap more into that. Give yourself time to think about things, and like honestly question everything. Like try to understand the reasoning behind things, like things that you were told, like being brought up, like, okay, like why is this certain way, or like why do we practice this in a certain way? And it might lead you to a place of like, you know, getting more like a cultural context behind things, and it can just be more like educational thing, right? And you get more of a perspective on things that you do. But it could also lead you to a place of realizing, oh, like this isn't something that I align with, so like I don't want to, you know, keep, you know, going on with this and just like pushing away from it. So just thinking and like digging deeper into things. And also with family too, that's the thing that I've been doing. I've just been kind of like challenging, which they hate. I'm like at that phase, I'm kind of like a baby. I'm just kind of like, no, just like no. I'm just like, why? Challenging things, like can you like further expand on that? Like why do you feel that way? Or like why do you believe that? And then also realizing that they've never questioned things and they just believe it because it's like, oh, well, my grandma told me that. That's what they've been told, yeah. And it's just like, well, why would I question it? I'm just like, well, why not?
Going with your new perspective and like how your relatives have noticed you've changed and everything, like did it feel, were you able to kind of appreciate it and honor it in a different way, or did it feel like, were you excited to leave? Like, what were the emotions?
With this trip, like, I finally came to terms with, like, being American, because that was, like, my big thing, like, moving here. Even with my parents consistently reminding me, well, you're not American, like, you're not like these American kids, like, remember, you weren't born here, you weren't raised here, like, you just kind of live here. But also, like, always being conflicted, because it's like, well, I have grown up in, like, an American education system, like, the media that I consume is very American, the people that I'm around is very American, and, like, yeah, some of the, like, cultural values and, like, traditions and, like, stuff that I practice might be Ghanaian, but, like, a lot of my core values, like, right now, you would say are, like, inherently American. So I was always on the fence about, like, taking on that American title, because, like, politically too, it has, like, a meaning, just, like, having that privilege of just having that title attached to you as a person, like, going through the world. But yeah, through this trip, like, definitely I came to realize, like, I'm American as hell, like. Yeah, it confirmed that for me, and I just kind of, like, came to terms with it. Like, I was just like, you know what, it's fine, like, it's nothing bad. And also just thinking about, okay, now that I'm coming to terms with, like, okay, being Ghanaian American, kind of trying to recognize and, like, see the privilege that I carry being Ghanaian American versus just Ghanaian, kind of how I navigate that through my art and just, like, through the world as a person alone. Because I think the thing with diaspora kids too, making art is, like, sometimes, I don't know, like, it doesn't, like, sometimes it can feel like you're making art not necessarily for the audience that you think you're making it for, but kind of like a audience who wants, like, a certain narrative of, like, what you are, what your cultural background is, right? It might not be, like, a conscious thing, but it's just, like, unfortunately you kind of slowly lean into it, because obviously, like, you live in the US and, like, there's these notions about people from certain backgrounds and all that, and, like, sometimes unfortunately trying to go against that, your art can kind of not necessarily represent the people back home.
Do you feel like you've had to balance that narrative, kind of?
I think for me moving forward, like, the photos that I took in Ghana was just more so just, I carried my camera around and I would ask people, hey, are you comfortable with me, like, taking a photo of you, and just letting them know that I would be, like, putting this online. Because I think that's a thing too, like, just the African continent in general, people coming, putting cameras in people's faces and just, like, not compensating them, and just their photos are flying around everywhere while these people are getting, like, these awards and accolades for being, like, best photographer or whatever. So I was, like, very mindful of that, in the sense of, like, once again, the privilege that I carry being American, and, like, the, I guess, credit that I could receive from the photos that I was taking, and, like, I wanted to be very mindful about that. Additionally too, just, like, moving forward with my art, like, yes, I do want to represent, like, my cultural background, like, my heritage, and, like, specifically my tribe, because, like, I'm from a very small tribe within Ghana itself, so, like, we're a very underrepresented community. But in terms of doing that, I am aware of how the kind of, like, concepts of race in the US can go about, and just, like, how when it comes to, like, certain stories that come out of certain communities, just, like, how people receive it, or just, like, the narratives that people attach to them. And it's just, like, I just simply want to make art about people who look like me, who come from the same background as me, but I want to do it without it being like, oh, here's, like, a Black African artist, like, from type thing, you know? But also, like, I want it to be a thing where it's like, yeah, I am from Ghana, like, I am from this tribe, and, like, this is our people and this is what we do. But I don't want it to be a thing where it feels like it's being sensationalized for the sake of, like, representation, because we're kind of in that period where not necessarily all representation is good representation, or, like, certain organizations are not, or, like, are giving representation in, like, under a good guise. It's just more so to, like, fill out a quota or something. Like, my underlying goal is I want to make stuff that people connect with. That's just it. Like, so long as someone can connect with something that I've made, and, like, they feel seen, or, like, I don't know, it just, like, brings any sort of reaction out of them where they feel they need to talk about something that I've made, or, like, expand on it, or just, like, think about it on a deeper level rather than just consuming it and just, like, moving on with their lives and forgetting about it in however many minutes. Just, if I reach that goal, that's enough for me. Like, I don't need, like, a box office, like, #1 seller or something like that. Like, that would be cool, but, like, I think that with the whole, like, being in the Western world thing too, like, having certain notions of what success is, that's something that I've really been trying to break away from. And, like, thinking about, okay, like, the privileges that I have here, like, thinking about, okay, in Ghana, like, would I have the opportunity to be able to, like, make films or even, like, make movies? And it's, like, not really, not necessarily. So being able to do that in itself is, like, I'm already doing what I want.
Yeah, when you're able to kind of take yourself out of it and see the people before you, what they had access to, and what you have now being placed in such a different environment.
Yeah.
I don't know, it makes you kind of move forward differently and use your resources and strengths differently too. I just liked what you said about how YouTube was your film school, because it's true. It's like you have to give yourself that real experience whenever maybe you're not given it in other forms.
I have the opportunity that a lot of people prior to me have not had, especially like women before me, and it's like, why not? Why wouldn't I take the chance and like on myself and like believe that I can do this? And like once again, like I don't have to become like an Oscar winning director or something, but hey, like if I get my name on something that I made and I put it on YouTube and like 300 people across the world see it, then hey, someone's seen something that I've made, and I've made something too. So
well, this is your
you.
floral arrangement.
It's so pretty.
I wanna tie it for you.
Oh no.
Okay,
That's good.
here we go.
Yeah.
Here she is.
Thank you. Like, give me.
Yay!
Ooh, look at this, guys. Thank you so much.
Of course.
This is so cute.
Thank you for being here.
I'm just like admiring it. Just like, thank you so much.
Thank
this was
you.
so fun.
Yes.
I can't believe I'm on your podcast, Flower Philosophy.
Flower Philosophy's first guest. That is forever going to be you. And it makes so much sense because we've known each other for a long while.
I think about it, it's like almost a decade.
Yes, actually.
Oh, that's crazy. Thank you so much for inviting me, bring me your home, trusting me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys so much for watching, and can't wait to talk to you very soon. Hope that you are having a cozy, wonderful, great day wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and I will talk to you very, very soon.
Bye,
Thanks
guys.
for being here. Bye.
My finger heart.